I want to start off with is sharing with you 8 things that I am doing differently in my business that have resulted in, more simplified business that requires less time and effort while generating way more profit. Now, I've always kind of done things a little differently than many of my peers, but more recently, specifically in the last 4 months or so, I've really kind of ramped it up, if you will. Now, these 8 things that I'm doing differently literally fly in the face of what most gurus are teaching you, okay? But they have resulted in my creating a simplified business that requires less time and effort, and it generates, like I said, way more profit. And I suggest you consider doing these same things as well. So here they are, guys. The first thing is you want to start communicating differently. You want to start communicating and actually engaging and caring about your audience if you're not already doing so. Now, I know the type of people on this webinar want to be doing that, but it can be really tough. We want to start creating a dialogue, if you will, with our audience. And frankly, email stinks for this. Email is really tough. I mean, right across the board, email is getting harder and harder. Deliverability issues are hard. Open rates suck. And for engagement, email stinks. It's just a one-way kind of conversation, if you will, you talking to your audience, which is a monologue. And frankly, monologues are boring, right? So what I'm suggesting you do, and what I am doing much more of, is, stop talking to your audience. Stop talking to them and start talking with them, all right? It's all about engagement. So what you want to do is start engaging your audience. Ask them more questions. Ask for their opinions. People love to share their opinions. Do surveys. Send out surveys to your list. Put them on your Facebook page, on your profile page, on your fan page, and just overall seek feedback from your audience. Okay. By doing this, it's gonna really show them that you actually care about them, and not only is it going to show them that you actually care about them, but it's going to help you tremendously to better understand who they are, who your target audience is, so that you can in turn better serve them. So it really is a win-win situation. And frankly, it makes it a lot more fun to get that feedback. It makes all the difference in the world. I mean, we've all been there behind the computer, sending out emails, not getting any feedback, and saying, gosh, I wonder if what I said resonated at all with anyone, because people typically don't respond. Sadly, it's just the way, it's human nature. People, when they want to respond, they typically respond when they've got something negative to say. If you're in the customer service industry, you know that all too well. It's pretty rare that someone steps up and says thank you for anything. Instead, they complain about something. So, if you're sending out some really good content and some really good emails and not getting any feedback, it doesn't necessarily mean they're not listening, but, it's tough not getting that feedback, not knowing where people are, and if your content and your message is really having an impact. So you really want to work on engagement, okay? So build some sort of a community, okay, with like-minded people that have a common interest, people that, will all be there to support each other, all right? That's so key. And that's exactly why I created my Facebook fan page, which is, I just showed you, and it's over at facebook.com/net success systems. So if you want to check it out, please do. And again, click like and join the community and engage with us. All right, guys. In fact, this you'll see is a brand new page. I just replaced my old fan page with this new one, and I said goodbye to over 720 fans. And these were real fans, by the way. Not, I didn't buy them on Fiverr or something. These are real fans. But I said goodbye to them because I wanted to do something more specific for my audience. So, saying goodbye to 720 fans, a lot of people would say that's unthinkable, but, and maybe it is, but I'm more interested in creating that engagement and creating a hyper-targeted audience of people that I can connect with and build a community around. All right? Mark's saying it's difficult to develop a dialogue with my list and earn their trust as viewing. Yeah, exactly. You're so right, Mark. It is really hard to build that dialogue. So we want to work on engagement for your email list specifically, Mark. Go out there and start asking questions. Ask questions in your subject line. Ask questions in the email body itself. Ask for their opinions and feedback. Do surveys. direct them to your fan page to try and engage them there. There's different things that you can do, but you definitely need to take care of that. It's so important in 2013. Okay. So now, guys, the second thing that I'm doing differently, and I recommend you do differently as well, is stop buying products and learning new stuff. Now, that may seem kind of crazy and opposite of what everyone else is telling you, but, sadly, so many of us have this shiny object syndrome. We've all heard of that, and we've all suffered it at one point in time or another. I still do on occasion, and it's really tough because there's so many, shiny objects out there. There's so many pretty, bright, flashy things out there that look so great, that grab our attention, and we get sucked into them, right? And I want to encourage you to, stop that. Just understand that these shiny objects are not going to get you any closer to where you want to be. Really, all they're going to do is distract you and take you away from where your focus should be. All right. When you start buying up everything that you see, and we're constantly seeing things in our email every day, these new great offers that are going to change your world, you tend to feel overwhelmed, right? I mean, one of the biggest challenges that online entrepreneurs face is overwhelm, because we're inundated. Our emails are coming in every day, offering these new great things that are going to change your life. And what I'm going to recommend to you guys, this may seem unthinkable, it's the opposite of what other people are saying, but I'm going to encourage you to unsubscribe from many of the newsletters that you may be on. Really take a look at, if somebody's emailing you, are they really adding value to your life and to your business, right? Or are they just distracting you, taking you down some rabbit trail, taking you off target from where your focus should be? Chances are you'll find that at least 80% of the emails you're getting are really just distracting you. So I highly encourage you to unsubscribe from a bunch of those emails that you are receiving, because it's going to be more about, what you want, guys, is less input and more output. All right. And what I mean by that, less input is less studying, less buying, less absorbing, less consuming products, and more actually output. So more producing, more creating content, more creating products, more creating sales. I mean, if you're not actually producing, if you don't have enough output, you're not going to make any sales. So guys, I mean, that should be a red flag for you right there. If you're not making enough sales, chances are your input's too high and your output is too low. Because if you're not making products, if you're not creating content, if you're not creating marketing campaigns, you're not going to make any sales. It's just as simple as that. So you really want to focus on, minimizing the input and maximizing the output if you want to see better results in 2013. And really focus also on what's called just-in-time versus just-in-case learning, okay? You don't want to a lot of people have this problem where, they'll get an email about this great new product. Let's say it's SEO. It's something to do with Google and how to get ranked on Google. And these things are constantly changing as Google changes their algorithms. But, let's say you're getting a product on how to get ranked. Well, you might not necessarily need to get your site ranked right now, all right? So don't learn it right now, because if you learn it right now, that's considered just-in-case learning, in case I need to know how to do it in the future. What you want to do is focus on just-in-time learning. Only learn things that you absolutely need to know today in order to make that next step, that next progressive step in your business, okay? So if you don't need to know it right now, don't learn it. Don't waste your time buying the course. Don't study it, and don't try and implement it, because it won't help you. Focus on those things that you need today, not what you need tomorrow, all right? That's where your time should be focused. It's all about how much, or I should say it's not about how much you know, guys. We get caught in that trap. It's not about how much you know. It's about how much you make when it comes to business, all right? And the question you've got to ask yourself is, do you want a bigger library of products, or do you want a bigger bank account? For most people, I think you're going to raise your hand and say, I want a bigger bank account. I mean, that's why we're out there studying all these courses and buying up all these new products and, going down these rabbit trails, chasing these shiny objects, is because we want to learn how to make more money. Well, stop all that nonsense, guys, all right? It's not how much you know, it's how much you make, all right? So get real clear on what it is you need to do and focus on just that, all right? Just focus on what you need to do. Focus on the right things. And if you're not sure exactly what you should be doing, then I suggest hiring a mentor, all right? I mean, I hired my first business mentor back in 2006. I paid him $5,000, and it was one of the best things I ever did because he helped me get laser focus, which removed so much of that stress and overwhelm. And that focus resulted in hundreds of thousands of dollars in return. I also hired a mentor who I paid $7,000 to help me write and publish a print book. And that book became a #1 bestseller. So, you can see that one of the quickest ways to find success is to literally pay for the experience and the knowledge of a mentor. Because by doing so, you can quickly create those quantum leaps in your business. All right. That's the quickest way to make, to leapfrog all of your competition, make those quantum leaps, is to pay for someone else's experience. All right. Rather than trying to guess how to do it, learn from the best, learn from people who've been there and done that. All right. So the third thing is I want you guys to really get focused and start taking more time off. Yes, take more time off. The first thing I teach my inner circle clients is what to focus on and how to stay focused and productive. We create an action plan. And knowing what to focus on creates a low stress environment because suddenly what happens is you're no longer feeling that sense of loss and confusion, not knowing which way to turn next. Instead, what happens is you know what you need to focus on, and each morning when you wake up and start your day, you know what to go do. You're never lost, in other words. You don't just sit at your desk aimlessly wondering, what should I be doing next, and reading random emails. And so many of us get caught up and you sit down at your desk, and what do? The first thing you do is you open up your email, and you get, sucked in by these shiny objects, and you don't really know what you're supposed to be doing, and you're in a reactive mode. So, what you really want to do is create that plan so that you have clarity and purpose. And you do that again by following a proven plan. And, when you lay your head down at night and you know that what you did is what you needed to do during the day, you're not going to sit there wondering or lay there wondering what else you could have or should have done. You're not going to feel that sense of anxiety. It's going to help you so much take that weight off your shoulders, okay? And that's when your business becomes much easier. It becomes stress-free. It'll become profitable. And ultimately, it's going to become a fun business. So, by the way, just a quick tip here, guys. One of the ways that I stay focused, which is just a tremendous technique, it's called the Pomodoro technique. And basically what the Pomodoro technique is, it's using a little egg timer. You buy one of those egg timers in the grocery store for, $5 or so. And you set it on your desk and you set the timer for 25 minutes. And you work on one task for 25 minutes. It's a focused effort on a productive A-list task, something that if you focus on it, you are going to ultimately make money or put your business in the right direction. Okay, so they're A-list priority tasks. You spend 25 minutes only, nothing else. You eliminate all of the distractions, and you'll be amazed at how much work you can get accomplished. If you guys want to learn more about the Pomodoro technique, there's a website called PomodoroTechnique.com. Very cool, very, very effective. It's something that I do on a regular basis. Because, guys, you don't want to confuse being busy with being productive. Okay, they're two very separate things. A lot of people run around like a chicken with their head cut off all day long, really busy, doing all sorts of things, but not actually being productive. Okay, and just a side note, guys, as a warning, busy often means procrastination. So if you find yourself caught up in doing all sorts of different things in that sense of busyness, but not actually producing anything, chances are you're really just procrastinating. There's some sort of fear or something holding you back from doing what you know you should be doing. Okay, and then I also talk about taking more time off and taking breaks, and that's what you want to do. You want to take more breaks. If you work for 25 minutes, for example, solid focus effort with no distractions, then you take a break for 10 minutes, and then you work another 25 minutes, then you take a break for 10 minutes, and force yourself to take those breaks because it helps you refocus. And not just those 10-minute daily breaks, but take the weekend off or take a vacation with your family if you can. It's really important that you re-energize your batteries so you can come back stronger with that clear head. Okay, Staying focused and working on profit-producing tasks means ultimately that you're going to be working less in order to make more. And, that sounds so far-fetched to a lot of people, but really, it's all about focus, guys. When you are focused, working on what matters, ultimately you push aside all that crap that you've been working on in the past that's just keeping you busy, and ultimately you start working less, and you're going to make more because you're focusing on what matters, okay? So focus on what matters. Schedule in that fun time. Schedule in some family time, some vacation time, and reward yourself also when you meet those goals and milestones. As entrepreneurs, we're constantly seeking that big, big goal, which is great to have that bigger goal. But along the way, as you reach milestones, you've got to reward yourself, okay? And give yourself a pat on the back because, a lot of us are alone. We're sitting at our desks, at our homes, by ourselves with nobody to congratulate us, encourage us, so you need to pat yourself on the back. Or you need to join communities like my Facebook page where other like-minded people are there. You can share your success stories and support each other, okay? Really important to get some support. Now, the fourth thing is you want to stop promoting affiliate products, okay? I know that's going to really, frankly, piss off a lot of other product creators out there in JVs and what have you, but, at this point, most people that I've worked with in the past already know that I've almost completely stopped doing JV swaps and promoting affiliate products. And that's because I think it's really important, guys, that you need to care about your readers. You have to have respect for them. And frankly, you have to stop pimping them out. You have to stop pimping out your list to other people promoting their stuff. And, it's one of those things that you can really get caught up in because it's so easy to make money when you have a big list and you can mail something. So you got to keep yourself in check, guys, and make sure that if you're going to promote an affiliate product, make sure it's highly relative. Make sure that it's related to your audience and it's something that's actually going to help them, all right? And we're going to talk more about your own products in the future versus affiliate products, but just know that basically you want to stop adding to the problem, all right? Stop adding to the problem. Don't pimp out your list, all right, guys? Stop promoting affiliate products. The fifth thing, guys, is you want to create your own products. Now, this is where the real leverage is. And, I've actually been doing this since the very beginning, and I was lucky enough for whatever reason, I just knew I had to create my own products. But basically, when you create high-value, results-producing products and services, people are going to be excited. People pay for results, guys. They don't pay for time. They don't pay for the time that you spend with them. They pay for the results that you give them, all right? So you want to be really selective on who you work with. Only working with those people that are really a fit, with people who you can truly help. So if you say, for example, you're doing some coaching or something like that, only work with people that you can truly help, all right? Because it's all about the results that you're going to be able to provide for them. Because people, again, they pay for the results, not your time, all right? So for me personally, I turn down way more people than I accept. And most people, they honestly, they just take their money and run, but I prefer to sleep well at night. And, I like to get word of mouth referrals. So do what so many other people won't do, guys, okay? Don't commodify yourself. Don't sell cheap products and, give everything away constantly, because you end up commodifying yourself, and people aren't going to turn to you as the expert if you do that. And, you can afford to charge higher rates, higher price points, if you truly do produce results. And again, that goes back to picking and choosing specifically who you work with, because, you don't want to take on just anyone. You only want to take on the people that that you can actually help. Anything else would just not be fair to you or the client, obviously. All right. So do the right thing. And remember that front-end products are just that. They're front-end products. Sure, you need to have them. It's really important to have front-end products in your funnel and have them in place. And I'm going to be sharing with you how to do that in just a moment. But just realize that front-end products are just that. They're front-end products. Creating original, high-quality products, it's actually easier than you might think. So if you don't have your own products already, don't overly concern yourself about that, because it is actually easier than you might think. In fact, it's something that I teach my inner circle students and clients to do almost immediately when they start working with me. And look at this, and if you have your pen and paper in hand, think about this for a second. Write this down. If you have a job, and let's just say you get paid $27 an hour for your job, all right? You work 1 hour, that means you make $27 in your job, your job. Now, on the flip side, you are an information marketer, all right? You have an info product, okay? You work for 1 hour to create an info product, all right? And I can show you different ways of doing that. You work for 1 hour, you create an info product, and you sell it for $27, okay? Now that info product, is it not true that you can sell it until the end of time? I mean, you can literally sell thousands and thousands of units at $27. You spent 1 hour creating it and you sell it thousands of times at $27. Now that, my friend, that is leverage. And that is the beauty of information marketing, of digital marketing. And that's why that's one of the key reasons why I fell in love with information marketing so long ago. I love psychology and marketing. But, there's just a tremendous amount of leverage in information marketing. Okay? All right. So you also want to, when you're talking about creating your own products, this gives you the opportunity to get affiliates to promote for you. All right. So basically, you're turning the tables here. You have affiliates promoting for you rather than you promoting affiliate products. And, basically these affiliates, what you're doing is you're letting them do all of your marketing for you, and they're paying for it, right? They're doing your email marketing. They're doing solo ads, perhaps, maybe some Facebook ads, some pay-per-click. They are marketing you. They become your marketing agents, and they pay for it all. I mean, it's such an incredibly powerful leverage tool to have your own products and your own affiliate program with affiliates promoting you. It's amazing difference than promoting affiliate products. So if you're just an affiliate marketer and you don't have your own products, I highly encourage you to start creating your own products, okay? And it positions you as an expert too, by the way, guys. When you have your own products, ultimately what happens is you become the go-to guy in your industry. I mean, having your own products, it attracts clients to you. I call it push versus pull marketing. Push marketing is trying to convince people to buy your stuff, whatever it is. You're always, pushing them, pulling on their shirt tail and, grabbing their pant leg like a pit bull, pulling or pushing them to get your stuff. Please, please buy my stuff, begging them almost, right? Versus pull marketing, which is attraction marketing. When you position yourself as an expert, people start to come to you because they know you're the expert. They seek you out. It's much different. It's much, much more powerful too. And you can command much higher prices as an expert. So just remember that having your own product is going to greatly help elevate your status as an expert. All right. And again, that way you can demand higher prices. All right. So think about these things, guys. Now, the sixth thing that I'm doing differently is I'm following a proven plan, and I suggest you do the same thing. It always amazes me how many entrepreneurs don't have a plan. And there's a great quote: if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Okay, write that down, guys. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. What you guys want to do is follow a proven plan and stay focused on that plan. Stop running down all those rabbit trails, chasing shiny objects and those great new ideas. Minimize the number of projects that you're working on and maximize your profits, all right? Model what works, okay? Model what works. If you don't know exactly what to do, hire a mentor who's achieved what it is you hope to achieve. And then do exactly what works for them. And that's, honestly, guys, that's exactly why my clients work with me. And here's a few tips, okay? Make your plan simple. You don't want to overcomplicate it. Too many people try and overcomplicate it. It does not have to be overcomplicated. I'm going to show you more about this in a few minutes here, but you also want to zoom out, okay? Zoom out from your business. Get that sort of 10,000-foot overview of your business, because we all sort of tend to get caught up in our business. You don't want to be working in your business. You want to be working on your business. So zoom out and look at your business from afar and look for constraints. Look for constraints in your business. What is holding you back? All right? A great example is the story of a sales guy. If you're a sales professional and you have duct tape taped across your mouth, how successful are you going to be at making sales? It's probably going to be pretty darn tough if you got duct tape across your mouth, right? So, what do most people do? Well, I mean, there's a couple of options, but most people, if they're struggling in their sales, what they'll do is they'll go out and they'll buy a whole bunch of courses and they'll buy a whole bunch of books and what have you, and they'll study more sales training, for a couple of years. And then they'll go off and they'll try and make more sales. And they've learned all this great new knowledge, and they've become expert salespeople in their own minds. But they haven't actually done anything because they've been studying and they never took the tape off their mouth. So now they've got all this extra information in their heads, and they go to try and sell, but they still can't make any sales. After 2 years of studying the stuff, they're still not making any sales. Well, why is that? It's because they didn't take the damn tape off their mouth. That was their constraint. All they had to do was take the tape off their mouth, and instantly, they would start making more sales. They start making more money. So you guys have to look at your business in that same way. Figure out what your constraints are, all right? Don't go out and study more stuff. Focus in on what your constraint is and figure out how to remove that constraint from your business, all right? Because you want to be working on your business, guys, not in your business. If you're in your business too much, you sort of get those blinders on and you sort of lose sight of what's going on. Okay, and number 7 is stop the hype, guys, all right, and start telling the truth. Now, I'm not pointing any fingers here, but the fact is, in marketing, sometimes the lines get a little bit blurry, all right, and there's a lot of opportunity for overhyping things, all right. You hear about these push button softwares that spit out cash, and you see sales videos with professional actors, hired actors, fake screenshots of income claims, people claiming that you don't have to do any work, you don't need any knowledge, there's no effort involved. You can do this while you're sleeping, you can be sitting on the beach making money, all these kind of crazy things. That's all the hype. Let's start telling the truth, all right? To create a successful information marketing business, you're going to need a few things, guys. You need a proven funnel. First of all, you need a proven funnel. You can't make any serious money on just low ticket front end offers, that's where a lot of people lose out, by the way. They think, I'm going to create a low ticket front end product. I'm going to sell thousands of them. I'm going to be rich and I'm just going to retire. Well, that doesn't happen. And most people, don't understand that. You can't make any serious money just selling low ticket front end offers. Okay. You need a proven funnel, including the upsells. You need downsells. You need some continuity in there where you get the monthly recurring payments. And you need a big ticket, okay? I'm going to share a lot more about this with you in a few minutes here, guys. But the other thing, the truth is, guys, you need to be dedicated, all right? You must be dedicated to your vision, and you need to know what your vision is. You need to be persistent, all right? When you fall, and you will fall, trust me, you will fall, you need to get back up. You got to be able to, build up some toughness and some resistance to this all, guys. And when you fall, just, get up, wipe off your knees, wipe off your bloody nose, whatever it is, and keep moving forward. I mean, there's a great term or phrase, whatever you want to call it, fail forward. And I love that. Just keep failing forward because you will constantly fail. Anyone that's had any success anywhere in life has failed far more than they've succeeded. And they've learned to turn failures into successes and not even look at them as failures. So constantly fall forward, fail forward, and be happy with that. Be accepting of that and expect to fail along the way because each failure brings you closer to your success. All right? Commitment also, guys, is the truth of it. You need to be committed. I mean, goals are great, right? We all love to set goals, but the truth is they're not enough. Goals are not enough. You need to be committed, all right? And commitment is much different. You need to be willing to do whatever it takes. You can't just set a goal and say, oh, well, if I reach that goal, great. No. You've got to be committed. You've got to be committed to your own success. And if you're committed to doing whatever it takes, you will succeed, my friend. You will succeed. And that takes responsibility, which is the other truth. if you want to do well in business, you have to be responsible, especially if you're a one-man show, if you're an entrepreneur. I mean, you are your own boss, and only you can make yourself do what you need to do. You know, when I talk about the egg timer earlier and setting the egg timer, doing what you need to do, that's responsibility. That's setting your own schedule. That's prioritizing what you need to do. That's being there and doing that when there's nobody behind you telling you to do it. You need to be responsible for yourself and your own success, okay? You need to get leverage on yourself. So, set those goals, create a schedule, and let others know. In working in that job, you might work Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. The question is, guys, what hours do you keep as an entrepreneur? Do you even know? I mean, is this a hobby to you, or is this something that you want to be serious about? Because if you're serious about your success, you should have scheduled hours. You should be working set hours, period. All right? Treat it like a real business, okay? And even better, if you can, get yourself an accountability partner. I mean, when my clients join the inner circle, one of the first things I do is I set them up with an accountability partner who keeps them on track, who keeps them productive. It's so helpful when somebody is there to remind you of what your commitments are. And you'll be amazed at how much more you'll get accomplished. It's kind of like going to the gym. If you have a workout partner, or say you run and you have a running partner, whatever it is, if you have a partner, someone there that's waiting for you, expecting you, you'll get a lot more accomplished. All right? Mark's got a lot of great comments here. Thank you, Mark. Appreciate it. Okay, so also, the truth is strategies. Strategies, not tactics, guys. Let me explain what I mean by that. Most of the buy me now shiny objects that you guys see in your daily emails are tactics, all right? They're things that basically put off your business success. Tactics will eat up all of your time and all of your money, all right? There's traffic tactics, there's SEO tactics, there's social media tactics, tactics are great. And, when you actually have a business to plug them into, tactics are pretty much, okay, tactics are great if you have a business to plug them into, but if you don't have a business to plug them into, they're pretty much useless, okay? They're pretty much useless without that solid business foundation in place. It's kind of that just in case versus just in time learning, right? If there's some new, YouTube tactic that comes out, it's just going to get in your way if you don't actually have a business to plug it into. If there's some new traffic tactic where you can drive targeted traffic to your website, there's no sense learning that new tactic unless you have an actual business, a foundation to drive that traffic to. Because so often people think traffic is the answer to everything, and it's not. It's really not. What the answer is having a clear strategy and building a solid business foundation with a profit funnel in place that converts. And then you start driving traffic to it. You can, attach other tactics to it then, start looking at tactics and implementing those tactics. But really, building a business, it requires strategy, okay, guys? It requires strategy. Write that down. It's strategy, not tactics. Strategy involves working on your business. Tactics, on the other hand, they usually involve working in your business. So you guys, you want to take the time to plan your business. You want to map out your sales funnel. You want to map out your customer value, figure out what your customer value is. You want to map out your business. You want to do some modeling. Hire a coach or a mentor who can show you the way. Follow a proven plan and a proven system. This is going to be a huge, huge shortcut. And it'll give you, having that mentor there, it will really literally give you quantum leaps, moving you forward, helping you leapfrog your competition. People will be sitting back saying, how the heck is Mark or Bill or Sarah here? How are they getting ahead so fast? It's because they're doing the right things. They're taking right action. They're following a mentor who has a proven plan, who has a proven system. They're modeling. Modeling is so key. And sadly, as entrepreneurs, often we think we should be able to, do it all alone and by ourselves, and we can just figure it out. The truth that can be further from the truth. Okay, so the eighth thing I want to share with you guys, doing differently. I've been doing this for quite a while actually. Is fire your customers. Okay, and I want you guys to think about doing all of these things as well. Only work with committed people. Only work with committed clients who are willing to do the work. People that are willing to take the responsibility for themselves and their business. You might want to consider using an application form or some sort of application process if you have a bigger ticket product or service that you might be offering, because what that'll do is it'll help weed out a lot of the tire kickers and help you find those people that are serious, the people that are motivated, who are willing to, invest in themselves and in their business success. So really, guys, don't let the whiners in. I don't, and neither should you. Get rid of your bad customers and your clients by not allowing them to buy your products. You don't need them. There has to be a fit. Okay, I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about this later, but whether it's a client or a customer, if they're whiners, if they're complainers, if they bought a product and all they do is complain, refund them, get rid of them. They're just time vampires. They're going to suck up all your time and all your energy. You want to be working with people who are a good match, that truly are motivated, that want your help, and who you can truly help. You have to find your target audience. Laser target your audience, okay? That's where the success is going to be, okay? So weed out all those people that never take action. And one of the ways you can do that, by the way, is by increasing your prices. Like I said earlier, people pay for value, and more importantly, they pay for results. People pay for results. And personally, for me, I always give back at least 100 to 100, 500 times even more in value. And so should you. Always give back more, over deliver big time, guys. For example, in my inner circle coaching, it doesn't come cheap. And in fact, it's very expensive, but it's a lot less expensive. It's a lot less expensive than taking the years to try and figure out how to do it yourself and go at it alone. By being more selective on who you take on as customers and clients, you're also going to have less customer support. All right? Who wants to be doing customer support all day? Think about that. You'll have less customer support, which is going to reduce your workload. You're going to have more quality time to spend with your clients, your higher paying clients. You're going to have a higher success rate because these people are actually going to, they've got some skin in the game. They've invested in themselves. They're going to do the work. So you'll have a higher success rate, which will ultimately attract more clients your way. And you'll have a lower refund rate as well. It's a strange thing, but people that buy low-end products tend to complain a lot, don't they? And people that buy higher-end products, they hardly ever complain. They're responsible. They take action. They don't ask for refunds because they are responsible for themselves, and they do what they know they have to work, and they know they have to do what's necessary. It's totally turning the table on things, and if you guys start doing that, you're going to absolutely love it. Okay, so those are the 8 things that I'm running in my business differently. Things that I'm doing differently in my business from what most of the gurus out there are teaching you. And I'm confident that if you guys implement these ideas yourself, then you too are going to find that your business can be much more simple, much more fun, more focused, and most importantly, more profitable.